Hello and welcome to the third installment of the Welcome to Overwatch streams. So today we have one of my favourite sets of heroes to play, those with an auto-lock on ability. As you might have guessed from the fact that in my worst characters episode I had two snipers, I'm not the best at aiming. So I kind of like heroes who are able to just do the work for you. A lot of people say this makes me a scrub. I have feelings about it, mainly to do with how Overwatch is slightly different to a lot of Overwatch and games like it, like Team Fortress, have a lot of differences to a normal FPS. Most obvious being that most of the matches, apart from deathmatch, are based around kind of spatial capturing, not death. You know, you're trying to get a payload somewhere, or you're trying to capture an objective. So there's a fairly large amount of kind of tactics involved. Also, apologies if I cut this short or stop doing it. I've been out for the last 2 days with flu, but I kind of got to this evening and I was just like, I want to do something, even if it's just a stream. So. And I'm trying to make these on Thursday evenings because that seems to be a good night for it. Okay, so let's go into the practice range and start looking at our 4 heroes for today. So, not using the others today. Our 4 heroes that we're looking at today are Soldier 76. Torbjorn, Winston, and Symetra. Is that better in volume control? Cool. So we're using Soldier 76, Torbjorn, Winston, and Symetra. So let's go through them in order. Soldier 76 was previously known as Jack Morrison, the leader of Overwatch. He was a genetically engineered super soldier who was initially the second command during the initial event that Overwatch got formed to deal with, the Omnics crisis, which we'll get to, I think, next week. However, once that was settled, he took over from the other leader, Gabriel Reyes, and led it up till its collapse about 10 years ago, I think, in universe. So we are actually looking at quite a lot of Overwatch veterans today. So Soldier 76, well, he's a character who they get you to use in the tutorial. If you've played anything like Call of Duty or a lot of other kind of shooting games, Soldier 76 will be quite like you'll understand him, which is why they use him for tutorial. So it's normal gun, it's a pulse rifle, it's got decent damage, decent range, decent rate of fire. Just a fairly decent weapon all around and fairly low reloading time. You do need to be able to keep your tracks on the opponent, but you know.
Only gets better with age.
Okay, so it also has the ability which is the Helix missile, so right click fires that. Quite a useful weapon. It does quite a lot of extra damage. One of his simplest abilities is just a sprint. So just hold down left shift and he will sprint. You can't fire while sprinting.
Double kill.
You can't fire while sprinting, but he's there. Soldier is very much a kind of all-around hero. So You know, he's got decent mobility, decent range, decent damage.
Target down.
Sorry, we're still trying to get some of the audio kinks of that. He also has an ability to drop this healing field, this biotic field here, which basically heals all allies and himself in range, which is very nice and helps with his survivability. I'm just gonna... Okay, is that working for the chat?
Only gets better with age.
Cool. Right then, now we come to his ultimate ability, which is why I put him in the week of the Autolock on. His ability is the Tactical Visor.
I've got you in my sights.
And basically, it automatically locks on to any enemies that you can see. So it only lasts for a couple of seconds. And so it can be a bit awkward because it's difficult to pump out enough damage to take out, say, a full health Reinhardt with it. So you want to do it in a place where you're going to get lots of kind of squishy enemies that you can take out at once to get the best use out of it. It's very good at enemies like Pharah and Genji, who like to jump around a lot, because suddenly their ability to dodge is meaningless because you're just locking on. Okay, so I'm just gonna do another repeat of that because it's fun.
I've got you in my sights.
So your Helix missiles also lock on. I mean, it's good to get that. So yeah, Soldier is, in terms of personality, kind of a grumpy old man. I think one of his voice lines is,
Young punks, get off my lawn.
which I love. So there's a lot of the former higher-ups of Overwatch who has faked their death. So everyone thinks that Jack Morrison is dead, and there's like a huge statue of him. But no, he's still alive, and he's running around in like a leather jacket, being all kind of like, I'm a badass vigilante now. Right, so that's Soldier 76. Now let's talk about Torbjorn. Torbjorn is not a fantasy dwarf. He is just a short Swedish man who builds things. So Torbjorn was Overwatch's head engineer. He was also instrumental in putting together a lot of the tech for the Omnics, which later went... well, they kind of nearly destroyed humanity. So, yeah, not that great. But yes, he is a small, grumpy, old Swedish man. And his thing is... well, he's got a couple of things. So, here's his rivet gun. It's a pretty decent kind of arc projectile weapon. I think a lot of people forget that Torbjorn has a pretty good gun on his own, because they're so used to dealing with his main ability. So he's got two abilities, a kind of more accurate shot and a kind of shotgun. He can also drop armor packs for himself and his friendlies to use. So if you look at his health bar as I walk through it, he gains 75 armor. So that takes... when those health boxes take damage, they drop a bit of damage. You can also give them to allies. So there we are. So he needs scrap to make these, and so I've just collected some. So he gains some automatically, but the best way to do it is to destroy enemies. Okay, so what is Torbjorn's big thing? Because so far, that's fairly basic. So, his big thing is, he can make turrets. So this is a level 1 turret. It is fairly low, it's what he starts with, it's fairly low damage, and can be quite easily destroyed. It automatically locks onto enemies around. So he has 2 weapons that you swap with using the buttons 1 and 2 on the keyboard. At least that's the default kind of mapping. So one I'm using is rivet gun. Then he also has this hammer, which doesn't do much damage. But so yeah, an area protected by a Torbjorn turret is suddenly really unpleasant for a lot of people to enter. And a lot of stuff about Torbjorn is working out where to leave the turret. So quite often he'll team up with either the tanks Reinhardt and Orisa, who provide shields for him, which keeps the turret alive. You can see the turret's health down there. And a lot of it, like a lot of new Torbjorn players, just try to leave it up as much as they can. As you get, like, the really dangerous Torbjorn players are the ones who are able to quickly and efficiently move it round. So suddenly you don't know where the turret is going to come from. Now, his ultimate ability is the Molten Core, which supercharges his turret. It gives it 800 HP, gives himself 500 HP, but I've also got the armor, and it becomes a horrifically powerful death thing. It's really good for if you are trying to hold a point. It's really good for if you're trying to hold that last point, because nobody really wants to come up right in front of the of a Molten Core in Torbjorn. Before her shield got nerfed, D.Va used to be able to just about handle. D.Va used to be able to handle it, but not anymore because her timing's gone down. So if you hear Torbjorn shouting Molten Core, stay out of the way. So I'll talk about Torbjorn a bit more in the Omnic one, partially because of his history in creating them, and partially because of his current relationship to a particular one called Bastion. But for now, I think we're going to move on to one of my favourite characters, at least personality-wise, in the series. I'm just going to let this play itself out. Okay. So, this is Winston. As you may have noticed, he is a gorilla. He is a super intelligent, genetically enhanced gorilla from space. Specifically the moon. He is one of Overwatch's top scientists. He made the device that allows Tracer to exist in time after her accident, where she kind of desynchronized from the rest of the time stream. So that's what her kind of harness here is for. It is a it stops her from phasing out of existence. Also, this is my favourite Tracer skin. It's kind of this punk graffiti skin. I really like it. But yeah, so I feel like Winston. So Winston is the star of kind of the first Overwatch animated short, which I actually really like the shorts, so I advise you go and watch them at some point. But essentially, he is kind of the last inhabitant of the kind of the major Overwatch base that's left standing. The HQ kind of exploded, but he lives at a place called Watchpoint Gibraltar, and he's constantly umming and ahhing over whether to try and reinstate Overwatch, which is highly illegal. So, and eventually Reaper turns up, they fight, he drives them off, and he decides that that kind of kicks things off enough for him to call the rest of the Overwatch agents back into service. The ones that we know have responded to the call are Tracer, Reinhardt, and May. Which is kind of amazing because May's not even like a combatant, she's a climatologist. So yeah. He also has a bit of a relationship, so he took down the one of the leaders of the criminal organization Talon that we'll get into soon, Doomfist, who I think is really cool. But anyway, this guy lost to Winston, got locked up, recently escaped. Anyway, so those glasses, by the way, they are a keepsake from his basically dead kind of father figure, one of the scientists who worked on the moon. I should probably explain, the moon base got overrun, the guerrillas formed a rebellion. There is a moon base in the Overwatch canon filled with angry guerrillas, and as far as I know, no one's doing anything about it. So, like, when all the other problems are dealt with, like, everything could be perfect, and then it's just this army of guerrillas from the moon invading. I love it. Anyway, so, on to the gameplay. So, Winston has a jetpack which allows him to jump long distances. Considering, yeah, they won their rebellion because there's only a bunch of scientists there. So anyway, his main weapon is this Tesla cannon. It will, basically, it fires this lightning which grabs onto any opponent in its region. His movement is very good. So his jump recharges very quickly. Winston is what's often referred to as a dive character. So he's very good at suddenly jumping into enemy formations and kind of being very disruptive. He is also widely considered one of the top tier Overwatch characters and has since basically his release. So his final main ability is to drop this dome shield down. So you got the emitter there. That has about 800 HP, it stays up there, and it's very nice just for, you can use it to contain ults, you can use it to protect your allies, etc. Also you can just punch things because you're a gorilla. Punch, punch, punch. Okay, so here we have this kind of very pleasant, kind of dorky science gorilla nerd. But what happens when you make him angry? This happens. So this is his ultimate, Primal Rage, and basically he starts just jumping around. So you get this kind of really big jump, if I can get it to work. And you can basically just jump into a crowd of enemies and start knocking them around. If they're at the edge, if they're at the edge, like this one is, I will just quickly build up my ult again. Hello! So, ult gets built up by any healing and any damage that you do. Which is why a lot of characters like Roadhog and Lucio, anyone who can heal themselves as well as others, their ult tends to charge really quickly. Unfortunately, blocking damage I don't think charges your ult, which is a shame because I feel that could be an interesting thing, like deliberately blocking to build up your ult, even if it's not that useful. But you know, I guess the fact that you're stopping people from using their ult, their doing damage is enough. So I'm just gonna go wild and punch. Bye bye. Yep. Okay, so that's Winston. A very scary character if you can get him to work properly. Like I said, he's a top tier character because he's highly mobile, can take quite a lot of punishment, particularly with his shield, and then can jump directly out of range. So, you know, you can't even stop him afterwards. So yeah, now we'll move on to our support character of the day, who, that's kind of a, debated position, whether Symetra counts as support or not. Because she's not actually a healer. So Symetra is, what's called an architect working for the Indian company Visor. Visor itself is like one of the villainous factions in the series. They're kind of totalitarian megacorp that's they're entirely based around gentrification. And they will commit murder to do it. Symetra is, she tries to be lawful good, but she ends up being used to do lawful evil things. She's also canonically on the autistic spectrum. She trusts Visor a lot, even though those thoughts are starting to change recently. And yeah, she was one of the earliest comics, but we don't actually have that much stuff on Symetra's personality. She's also one of these characters, again, that, well, if I just use her ult, so you can see her outfit. So I really like her outfit aesthetically. Like, if I had the body shape to pull that off, I totally would. But it's a clubbing outfit. Or like, a nice night at a restaurant outfit. It is not a combat outfit. And ironically, weirdly, it's her combat outfit when her actual, like, formal outfit, which is one of her skins, works a lot better. So I'll be changing that. Oh yes, you can let people know how much your ultimate has charged. So I have it keyed to Z. Okay, so what can she do? Well, her gun is one of the most hated in the game. So it has a right-click mode, which fires these orbs that charge up. So one of the things about them is they will go through enemies. And they will also go through shields. So she's very good at defending pinch points against people like Reinhardt. Now I'm going to go over to a bit where people move around and show you why her gun is really hated. Okay, so it locks on. You see the width of a beam. So if you look at the back of her gun, we've got those bars on the kind of triangle thing. So when it starts out, her gun does 25 damage per second as long as it's locked on. That will go up for every second that she's attached until it's doing 125 damage per second, which is a terrifying amount of damage, especially seeing as it locks on, and so you don't even need to aim properly. The players who get most annoyed about this tend to be Genji players, who... So Genji has this weird thing where he's actually a really hard counter for Symetra, if he's used correctly. If he's not used correctly, then Symetra eats him for breakfast. And for some reason, Genji players are really, really bad at switching characters, in my experience. No shade if you are a Genji player, just... I run into a lot of them. So, her next ability is much more of a kind of area than our ability, which are these turrets. So, she puts them down, and they do damage, and they also slow down anyone that enters their range. So I think they do about 25 damage each, so if you've got all 6 of them locking onto you, that's quite a bit. They only take 1 point. There's no real easy point that I can show off this bit, but they only take 1 bit of damage to get destroyed. So they're very fragile, but they're very good for setting up what's called car washes, like this. Then we have her shield ability. So yeah, that's going to keep going. It's a bit like Torbjorn in that respect. Right, so that's his shield ability. It's just this nice floating shield. So what I tend to do is if I'm against an enemy like a sniper, So someone in the chat has just mentioned amateur player tried to copy pro techniques without skill and resent it doesn't work. Here's the thing, they're not, that's the point. Genji has a very particular move which is his dash, which allows him to dash through Symetra, do her damage, and stop her from locking onto him. And it's really hard to come back from that. Amateur Genjis will try and jump around and hit her from range, which is just not going to work. Aggressive Genjis can take her out. So what I tend to do with shield is hide behind it, get nice and close to someone like a sniper with lots of long range stuff, because Symetra really suffers from long range, and then yeah. Okay, so now for ultimates. So Symetra is unique and actually has 2 ultimates. So I'm going to show off the first here. So he sets up this teleporter here. Now what this means is, if I go back to the spawn point, you'll see that another teleporter has been put up here. So if we jump through, ta-da! Now over here. So it kind of allows you to automatically do it. The teleporter will move up to 6 people before it disappears. So hold on. So it can be destroyed. You've got a health bar for it at the top here. It's mainly shield, so it recharges over time. But it's generally a fairly obvious target for people to destroy it. So unfortunately, in order to show off the other ultimate, I need to go and jump through it and use up the charges. So on 3. Oh, those poor bots, they keep respawning right there and they can't destroy them. Anyway, quite a common Symetra tactic with the on defense is to put up 6 turrets around the attacker's kind of entry point, which allows you to, oh god, my ult's charging so quickly. But yeah, put up 6 turrets around their spawn point, and then just use that to, even if you don't kill anyone, you soak up enough damage to get your ult off automatically, which is really useful because it can really decrease the amount of time that it takes for you to get from the spawn point back into a fight, which can completely turn things around. The other one is the shield generator. So you'll notice that it's kind of like Torbjorn's armor, but for the whole team. So that he's projecting. If I had a team, so you'll see that my friendly bots are getting this charge. So if I go far enough away, and I don't know whether I can go far enough away on this map. Yeah. So there's a certain radius, but as you can see, it's pretty large. So if I kind of go back, yeah. So if I go back in, I get it back. I quite often use the shield generator just because a Symetra that's harder to kill is a Symetra that can do more killing. Okay, so that is Symetra, and that is the last of the heroes, so let's head into some quick play. Oh look, we're at Winston's home. So given that we're at Winston's home, I think it makes sense... Oh, somebody's already taken Winston. Okay, let's do Soldier. So I'm backfilling, which means that I'm coming into a game after my... I'm coming to a game after some players have dropped out. Yeah, so we've got an enemy Symetra. So yeah, let's just try and do some damage. My aim is really bad today. Who have we got? Okay, so one of the things about Soldier is that, you know, you can run back into a fight quite quickly. Not quite as quickly as, say, Tracer, but, you know, pretty quickly. Okay. Damn it. Got sniped. Okay. To be honest, I would switch to Winston right now because handling snipers is kind of Winston's thing. He can jump right up to them and just start firing. But as that's not what's happening. Oh boy. Yeah, this is not working out. Partly because my team will not group. We're just all running in there one at a time and dying.
I don't quit till the fight's done. Group up with me.
Why we stopped?
Oh, we go group up?
30 seconds remaining. We're out of time. Attack!
This hasn't worked out very well. So I feel that wasn't really a fair demonstration of Soldier, so I'm gonna give him another shot. Yeah, they had a good defensive position, and I could have probably broken through if I used, like, D.Va, which, given that she's pretty much irrefutably now one of my mains. I think I'm about to die. Oh no, it's just my team who are about to die. All of them got the vote ups. I'm gonna vote up their Hanzo because he killed me several times. Torbjorn, ready to work. I feel Winston in particular gets kind of the short stick from the Overwatch fandom, particularly kind of like the fan fiction part of it, because his whole bit is he's the one who brings Overwatch back together, but a lot of fanfics don't focus on, like, they're not focusing on how they got together, they're focusing on what happens once they're together, so it's kind of just like, oh yeah, everyone's together. Which means that Winston's time to shine kind of gets overlooked. So Torbjorn actually has a lot of fun skins. So we got Blackbeard, Pirate, we got Viking, we have young Torbjorn, so his Torbjorn in his Overwatch days. And then we have Santa Torbjorn. He only comes out in the Christmas events for me. Oh, wait. Okay, so apparently you can only... So I don't think I can change his skin again now. So yeah, it's only like the first, like before you start the match, basically. Right, I'll set up my turret and then I'll show you my favourite thing that I have about Torbjorn.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Okay, so we've got our friendly Visor over there, the quadruped, giving us a shield, which is very nice. And now, if I have time,
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
dance! Okay, I should probably play. Oops. So each hit of a hammer restores 30 HP to my turret. I don't think I need to just be hammering. Well, I do now. Okay. Someone can add some armor. Actually, I could probably do with some armor. I was so busy trying to fix up the turret that I didn't notice I had taken quite a bit of damage. Well, that went wrong. Oh well, I've got enough scrap that I can dump a couple of sets of armor here. Yeah, it's one of the risks of having Torbjorn or Bastion. You know, you set up a you kind of set up a defensive thing, but you don't notice it. Similar to Widowmaker, so it's very easy for her to suddenly find herself focusing on. It's very easy to find herself getting tunnel vision and not being able to see. Oh, he said. I was just like, oh, the Hanzo's dead. I can come out now. Bang. Straight to the head, Widow. Good shot. I don't think any of the players I play against will ever, like, see these videos. But if you do, nice shot, Widow. I don't appreciate it, but, like, I acknowledge your skill. Well, not necessarily skill. It might just be that I'm too obvious a target. Ah, dragons. Hey guys. Well, that was a waste of note. Oh well. How am I doing? Okay, pretty good. I'm gonna need to go and... Donk, donk, donk. Yay! So, dislike. I have strong feelings about the prevalence of rocket launchers and other dangerous anti-me weaponry. Damn it. Oh well.
30 seconds remaining.
Back to the drawing board.
Hang on, everyone! We can do this! Justice reigns from above!
Okay. 14 seconds left.
10 seconds.
We almost got this. Don't screw it up.
Can't deflect a hammer, Genji! Well, you can just kill me. I mean, I think the team's doing quite well. They have a lot. I'm doing quite well considering how many counters they have to my turret. So the snipers, Genji, and stuff like that. So I think that was a pretty good Tor play. Oh, and I got play of the game. Ah, so this is when I just hit Q and... Can't deflect ammo, but you can kill me. I'm going to vote myself because I like that game. I feel like that should be one of Reinhardt's voice lines. Actually, I did actually see the people that I took out and play the game. So a lot of them I took out with, because in the kill stream you could see I don't think it was the turret taking them out. I think it was me. So I was firing this kind of arc. Alright. Defenses. Symetra time. Okay, so this is Symetra's kind of formal work outfit, and as you can see, it is so much more practical than like it's got pants and everything, trousers. God, I've been talking to Americans so much. So the main thing is Torbjorn's bullets have a very slight arc on them. One of my friends had just in the chat just said that they were they started playing while watching this and keep getting confused as to who was ulting in which, whether someone was ulting in my game or whether someone was ulting in theirs. Right, so we don't have any tanks. Oh boy. But don't worry, we have 2 snipers. Oh, quick play team comp is hilarious. So I'm just gonna stick a load of these turrets around this entryway. Oh, hi Roadhog. And then I am going to go and not run off that edge. Nice view.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the ping.
So this is generally considered a very attacker-friendly map. So like in competitive, in like high-level plays, yeah, the defenders are generally considered to be doing very well if they can halt like the first wave. I'm not at that level, and I probably never will be because I just don't have the reflexes. But I can well believe it. Like, this is not a fun map to defend on, to be honest. So I'm going to open up teleporter, and I'm going to try and kill this Genji. So that thing where Genji kind of spins his sword around, that is his deflection ability, which works on all projectile weapons. You may have noticed that Symetra's beam is not a projectile. This is kind of an issue, and it's why a lot of Genji players get very annoyed at Symetra's, because they try to deflect the beam and it just goes straight through. Dash, don't deflect. Always hit dash when you're playing Genji against Symetra. A bit of I don't want to give advice to Genjis in case they get better. Like, I kind of don't want the average skill of Genjis to get better because they are just too funny to kill right now. But yeah, if you have to play Genji, Genji responsibly is what I'm saying. I could do with some healing. Is anyone gonna? Ah, cool. Thank you. So with Symetra, it's quite easy to get very high damage. What you probably shouldn't do with Symetra is try and take on a Roadhog face to face. So anyway, I'm going to take on a Roadhog shed to face. Oh, someone's destroying my teleporter. Meanie. Right. Doobie-doobie-doo. Hi, Mercy. I know it's kind of like against the Geneva Convention, but always target the Mercy. Yeah, I couldn't do much against an ulting Roadhog, to be honest. I mean, we've done better than I've expected, given that we're defending with 3 attacking heroes, 2 snipers, and no tanks. But yeah.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay, so Tracer is off. Tracer versus Symetra is generally kind of a toss-up. So like, if a Symetra can get a good lock on, she'll chew through Tracer because she's so squishy. But Tracer's also very good at kind of staying out of Symetra's damage range. I'll go with Teleporter again. Ah! Their Roadhog really likes to ult in my face. If you mean... So someone just asked if different example of diving. It sort of is if you count jumping in suicidally as diving. Which I do, so yes, it was diving. Oh, hi Winston. Yeah, I'm probably playing the most aggressively outside of maybe our Tracer. We can be annoying when but it's my fault. I should have kept up with the rest of the team and not just jumped in. That was bad playing on my, yeah. Oh yeah, so if you, so basically if you lose a point with Symetra, your damage gets, your ult charge gets replenished depending on kind of how much charge it has left, which is useful because, you know, it's often not left in a good place. I don't think we need Symetra right now. I think we need Winston. Well, we need a tank, and under the challenges I've set for this, Winston is the tank that I can use. So... Any chance of healing? Yeah, this match is not fun for defending on up until the very last point. And they were just better coordinated. So this is Moria's David Bowie skin, as you might have noticed. Yeah. We were kind of just chewed through there. Might as well vote myself. So, nope, not competitive. So, I think I'm going to do one more and try and get a good Soldier and Winston play.
Arriving at
we're back at 1 point Gibraltar.
Prepare to attack.
So let's start with Winston, because it looks like we've already got several. We've already got lots of DPS. Well, we did until they quit. So let's have a look at what other. So the blue skins here are just kind of recolors of normal one. So this one is, so Horizon is the space colony that Winston is from. So this is kind of his spacesuit. So this is actually Winston's lab. Like all of this stuff left around here is Winston's. So these guys are destroying my stuff, which is really rude. So if you've watched the short, you'll notice, you'll recognise this screen, which is kind of like the recall screen. Most of the screens are just kind of nonsense. Athena is an AI. She was the Overwatch AI. Now she hangs out with Winston. So there's actually a whole bunch more agents mentioned in the short on the screen than there is here, but here we just have Tracer, Mercy, Torbjorn, and Reinhardt. And you'll notice the big tire swing there, because, you know, why not?
One. Attack commences.
So that was me trying to do a dive, but I kind of ruined it by missing where I was trying to go. Where am I trying to go? What am I doing? Thank you for killing me. You've put me out of my misery. I was just like jumping. Where am I going? Okay. So, like, a general strategy at this level is just don't run in one at a time. Like, don't worry about getting a hang of any kind of pro strategies like, you know, Nano Blade, which is where Genji uses his ult while being powered up by Anna's, or, you know, anything fancy like that. Oh, I was wrong earlier. Winston Shield has 600 damage, 600 HP, not, I said 800 earlier, so just correcting that. Also, it blocks it two ways, so if an enemy is inside the barrier, they can't attack people outside. Hey, Widow. So Tracer and her girlfriend are really good friends of Winston. Are really good friends of Winston, so they like spend Christmas together. Which I think is pretty sweet. And yes, Tracer has been confirmed as being canonically gay. But, like, I'm not saying that a lot of my gay friends had pegged her as a lesbian pretty quickly from character design. But a lot of my friends from character design said that she was probably gay. There again, a lot of my gay friends say a lot of the characters are gay. Which is fair, because, you know, straight people say that a lot of characters are straight. Actually, one of the own, Torbjorn is confirmed to have, like, a wife and lots of kids. So someone has just mentioned using that, so jumping over and putting it on top of a bastion. Don't do that. Bastions put out enough damage that they will just chew through the shield in like 2 seconds. Because that's what bastions do. Like, it's their entire purpose. Thanks for the heals. So, Moria's ult is another one of those that, Moria's ult is another thing that will ignore barriers. So, yeah, Tracer really doesn't like to be, hacked, because she is very, very, fragile, and she relies a lot on her abilities. Oh, one thing you may have noticed is that if you are attacking and you stand next to a payload, your health goes up slowly. Like, it's not a lot, but it can help out in a pinch.
Further experimentation required.
So, I've actually blocked more damage than I've actually done, which is always fun. Another thing is when Winston uses his ult, as well as gaining like a whole load of extra health, he refills his health, which means that it's sometimes quite useful to do it as a kind of pinch thing, you know. Ah crap, I'm really low on health, but I got my ult ready. Well, I'm dead. Even as a tank, you don't want to be right next to a Winston, to a Torbjorn that's Molten Core. And yeah, that was just a lot of damage being pointed my way. I think we're trickling at the moment, which I've talked about trickling before.
Further experimentation required.
Right, it's not really what we need right now, but
We're all soldiers now.
fuck it, I think we could use a bit more firepower. Nice. Well, that means that so Soldier's ultimate so when you activate Soldier's ultimate or when the opponent activates it, you'll hear the line, "I've got you in my sights." If your friendly activates it, it's Tactical Visor activated. It's just one of those kind of ultimate call signs that people use, that characters have. There's only room for one soldier here.
Get over here and heal up.
Right.
I've got you in my sights. Patched up.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. A lot of so if you've got it on English mode, so you might have just heard their Widowmaker say a line in French. Pish, show me what, I can't remember it. But that's basically her one. In her, so you'll hear
I'm not
a basically you'll hear all friendly lines in your native language. If there's a difference.
Enemy turret ahead. Name's McCree.
Its destination. 60 seconds.
got you in my sights.
Damn it. Yeah, so Warrior's Irish, so she uses Gaelic, which is kind of cool. She's also a mad scientist. Actually, no. Like, considering what she's done, I think she's quite a sane scientist. It's just... she's an immoral scientist, that's a better word. And I know those are colloquially the same thing, but... like... you don't do the shit that she's done. If you're... like... I know. Like, from my experiences with mental illness, I feel like she's a bit too productive to be called a mad scientist. But, yeah.
I'm not a young man anymore.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Yeah. I don't think I've won a single match during the stream. I blame the flu. But, you know.
Play on the clock.
Right, so I'm gonna call that an end for matches. I'm gonna show a couple of the behind the scenes stuff if before I go. So I'm just gonna leave game. Yes. Okay, so I have a loot box. So there's lots of controversy over loot boxes for good reason, because they're basically a gambling element. I don't buy them, I just kind of get them when I get them. But, you know, so this is a special loot box, so let's open it up. I got basically nothing good.
Ready for some fireworks?
So yeah, one thing I can do is I didn't even get any highlights this screen. So basically, it's kind of like play of the game. The game will go, oh, this bit was kind of what we were considering for play of the game, for you, even if you didn't get it. I didn't get it. Not loot boxes. So if I just go on Hero Gallery, so like Symetra skins in particular, like, okay, this one is a much better kind of one to run around in than that one. Like, this one is super pretty, but yeah, what the hell? I had something else I wanted to do. Alright, Soldier has a lot of good skins. So I have things like this, Stunt Rider, a very American one. Look at that mustache. Some ones I haven't got. So this is kind of, that's Jack Morrison during the kind of his heyday as Strike Commander of Overwatch. My favourite one is Grillmaster 76, which is him getting ready to have a barbecue. And his healing fields are now, he puts down a can of beer. So hold on, you can look at his weapon as well. So it's got a assault rifle on the side of the, so that's where his helix rockets are fired from. It's just got a assault rifle. It's just diet heal up. So a lot of the summer game skins are really good. So like, no, not that one. So McCree the cowboy is now a lifeguard, and his poncho is now a towel around his neck. I'm told some of my audience likes the abs, so I'm just gonna go. There's the abs for you, for people who like it. But his gun is now a flare pistol. Desert Seagull. We don't know what. So normally he has badass motherfucker written on it. I don't actually know what SS motherfucker is. It could be safe, C, security. I don't know. But yeah. Also, so when he does his whole when he does his ultimate, like normally a tumbleweed drove by, but now it's a beach ball. Sorry, I just wanted to show off some skins. There's also emotes, so Diva has this really good one where she sits down and just plays the game projected by her ultimate. I did not realise I had her dance. I need to equip that. I should be worried about that because my username is Aquaheart, so it's just like, I'm gonna break you, heart. And, yeah. Okay. So, I think that's it for today. So yeah, I'm gonna stop streaming, and then I'm going to have to edit out the first 6 minutes of this because of the mess up. Which will take a while because these are big files. These are really big files. But yeah, so that was a nice little nice little 1 hour stream. And so next week we are either going to be doing the Omnics or the villains, and I can't remember which. Hold on, I will check my list, which I have somewhere. Yep, so next is Omnics, then Villains, then the new generation. So try and work out who I put where, if you can. Anyway, see ya.